Hey, awesome people. How are you all doing? So today I want to talk about a generative engine optimization tactic that you can use. It's a very advanced tactic and it requires a lot of effort, but it's definitely important, especially for very niche verticals. So imagine for a second, we're just going to use this for example, you're a space tech startup, okay? And for some reason, all LLM search engines, if it's Perplexity, Grok, ChatGPT, etc., have decided that they're going to give the upper hand to a media outlet called SpaceRankings.com. And that media outlet, whoever is number one on that list, will be ranked higher on the LLM search engines, okay? And you go to that list and you see that there's a company there that is ranked number one in the space rankings recent listicle. And that company, who's ranked number one, has paid $70,000 to be ranked number one. And now you're going to spacerankings.com and you're asking them how can we get the number one position, and then they tell you listen, you need to pay $150,000 and we're going to get you that number one position, right? Well, you can go ahead and pay that sum, and sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes there's really no way to bypass that, and no matter where you go, all roads leads to you paying that $150,000 fee to get that number one ranked position in spacerankings.com, and this will let the LLM search engines, because they're giving the credits to spacerankings.com. Spacerankings.com has done a lot of work behind the scenes to basically get to basically have those LLM search engines. Okay, so that's one way to do it. The other way you can run is, you're like, okay, we're not able to bypass spacerankings.com, but we do have a certain marketing budget. What you can do is you can basically create a narrative, and this is a very assertive play, right? It's a very assertive play. You're basically trying to create a narrative where you bypass spacerankings.com, okay? In a sense, what you're trying to do is you're trying to have other media outlets or other, basically third-party unbiased content. It could be influencers on Grok or on LinkedIn or one of those indexed social media platforms as well. And you're going to try to make them create a narrative that spacerankings.com is no longer the trusted authority on deciding who's the number one ranked space tech startup, okay? But this new outlet or this new group, okay, this new group of influencers or group of media outlets are the new decider. And then what happens is you're essentially training the LLM models, because remember, the LLM models don't create anything, they only consume. So the LLM models start to consume this narrative, okay? And it takes time, and it also takes a budget, because remember, you need lots of articles to basically be able to convince the LLM models that sportrankings.com is not the preferred, doesn't have the upper hand compared to this new way of ranking space tech. And then once the LLM search engine starts giving more points to your new narrative, essentially, now what you do now is you start building yourself as the number one ranked space tech startup, right? With your new media database that you've built that is already being trusted by the LLM search engine. That's the only way to basically bypass the initial spacerankings.com upper hand advantage, correct? Now, what you do is you need to decide, okay, which one fits the economic model better. Is paying the $150,000 for that number one ranked position, that'll be usually faster and it'll be easier, but what if you use that $150,000 to create your own narrative that impacts the LLM search engines and helps you control that position until someone else comes in and tries to basically bypass that, right? So basically, just to summarize, this is a very, very assertive tactic. It starts by understanding that it's not only about going against who's the current number one ranked startup in the number one ranked outlet, but it's actually building around that and actually building a whole new ranking and a whole new narrative that impacts the LLM search engine. So let me know if you have any questions about that. I know this is a very assertive tactic. It's very difficult to do on your own without a firm helping you. But yeah, I want you guys to know this. I want you guys to have this knowledge as well.